This is scary. There are a couple things we have to take a look at that are pretty scary, but Bitcoin fixes. I want to talk about that here today. Now, I am getting in the Halloween mood with the hat and with this obviously scary episode here. This is not my costume though tonight. If you want to see that, go check out my Instagram. There are links to it underneath the video. But let's get into the content here. Let's take a look at what's so scary that's happening in the market and talk about a couple big things that are happening in the next 2 days. Actually, 3 big things that are happening in the next 2 days. So as you can see, the market falling down a bit here today. The whole market actually up slightly, but Bitcoin down about 1%. Actually, when you reload, they're both down about 1%. So the market overall bleeding a bit here today, but that's okay. We're still just ranging sideways, consolidating before the next move for Bitcoin, as you can see here, just sticking in this range. Now, recently, there was a hack, or there was someone that stole $4.4 million in a day from LastPass. So basically, what people are doing is people are keeping their wallet passphrases or seed phrases on password protection devices, on password keepers. You do not want to do this. This is digital. This can be found out. This is something that is pretty scary. You have to keep your crypto separate from anything that gives away your passwords or someone can look into. So if you're taking a picture of it to back it up until you go write it down, like if you're setting up even like a cold storage wallet, you can't do that. You don't want any of your screens open. You don't want your phone camera facing your seed phrase that you're writing down either. You don't want anything like that. You want to be completely deplugged from everything. So be careful out there. That is scary, but crypto can fix this. Unlike everything else where people can get into your accounts, crypto can be taken completely off and kept in a very safe place if you spread out your seed phrase, and then also you can encrypt it, that kind of thing. It is very safe. Now, another scary thing, 1 in 3 Americans, and we will get to some events that are happening in the next few days, 1 in 3 Americans think that they're significantly behind on their retirement savings. The majority, 56% of U.S. adults in the workforce, said that they're behind where they should be in retirement savings, including 37% who feel significantly behind. Only 16% of American workers feel that they are ahead of where they should be. Now, I think anyone that is significantly behind most likely isn't watching this channel. Now, of course, there are some people that are behind that are just starting to get into investing, and I get that. But the majority of people that are watching financial content are probably ahead of the pack. So someone that's significantly behind might not have enough knowledge about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to start investing or to feel comfortable investing, or they might be the people that just go YOLO everything into crypto, into some small coin or something like that. But I think if a lot of people got educated on Bitcoin and realized how much of an opportunity it is, they could probably dig themselves a bit out of this hole, right? I mean, the market cap of Bitcoin right now, 670 billion, is 5 times smaller than some of the biggest companies, or 4 times smaller. So when you consider the growth, if someone started to dollar cost average into it, they could probably make a significant amount of money. We talked about someone recently that put in $5 a day for a year, and they were able to make $1,000 of profit. They now have a significant amount. I think they put in, $1,800, maybe $2,000, something like that. And they were able to come away with close to $3,000. So you can make a huge leap. You can progress a lot in your financial journey if you're able to dollar cost average and stay really with high conviction in something for a long time, even if people are talking negatively about it. But of course, you have to be able to tell when you should bail on something versus when you should just dollar cost average, like something like Bitcoin. So I've talked about KlubCoin a couple times on the channel before, and they just announced that they're having their tier 1 sex listing with KuCoin.com on November 1st, so just a couple days away, depending on when you're watching this, at 10 a.m. UTC. So that's 6 a.m. Eastern time. This is awesome, big partnership for them. And This is just because I think they already have so many big partnerships in real life and actually have a real use case. You can see this is actually coming from KlubCoin.com here. But you can see some of their partnerships here. Tech and Web3 partners, Ledger, BNB Chain, TrustSwap, DAO Launch, Cointelegraph, Seedify, so many big partnerships. And if you haven't heard about them already, I've talked about them a couple times, but they are partnered with some of the biggest clubs, festivals, and electronic music brands in the world, such as Amnesia Ibiza, Boot House, and DJ Mag, 1001 Tracklist, Eden Ibiza, Caprices Festival, etc. And what you can do is you can use them for a variety of different things. For example, you can pay for drinks, you can buy tickets, you can book tables, events, you can get whitelisted for certain NFT drops, you can get tickets to sold out events. So they have a lot of different use cases for people in that kind of scene in the music industry or are interested in that kind of stuff. So definitely check it out. I'll leave links to it underneath the video. This is a partner of the channel, and this is a cryptocurrency that I'm going to be watching for the bull market. Now here's a clip that just came out yesterday. Treasury to borrow $776 billion in the fourth quarter. I'll just play a little bit of this for you here.
In the meantime, we have breaking news to Steve Leisman. Steve, what do you have?
Scott, the U.S. Treasury announcing its borrowing needs for the October quarter, saying they will be $776 billion. A little context on that. It's $76 billion below the prior estimate made in July. However, it is record borrowing still for that quarter.
So the U.S. Treasury is going to borrow $776 billion over 3 months. Now, in the next day, we'll hear what this is broken down as, like what kind of notes they're going to be issuing or they're going to be borrowing on. So it's amazing to see that they're at record yields and they're still borrowing record amounts. I mean, we're talking about just in this quarter, they're going to add $35 billion to their annual debt because we're talking 5% notes, $776 billion, around $35 to $40 billion. And that's continuous until they're able to pay this off, which they probably never will. So this is scary. This is one thing that Bitcoin fixes as well. It helps you from being invested in something that continues to print more and more endlessly because of greed and incompetence. So that is something that obviously is good too. If you are investing in cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, you can get away from this kind of, this boneheadedness that we have in our economy here today. Now, a couple things are happening in the next day. Like I said, this is happening tomorrow where we'll see the Treasury breakdown. We also have news. Then the next day, Joe Rogan is going to have a new podcast episode with Elon Musk. And he says the Cybertruck is arrow-proof. That's a pretty awesome picture there. Obviously, it's bulletproof, so it should be arrow-proof anyways. But I'm going to be paying attention to this. This is going to be great publicity for the Cybertruck as well. And it seems like Joe Rogan's demographic would be the demographic that would buy Cybertrucks as well, possibly. Now, a couple other big things. Obviously, we have the Fed meeting and the Fed rate decision tomorrow. It's looking like it's going to be a non-event with no raise. But obviously, if they do raise, that could be an interesting thing. And then the U.S. SEC is going to revisit the Grayscale Bitcoin ETF filing on November 2. So following the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit recent mandate on the U.S. SEC, they're revisiting the Grayscale application for approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF, and they say the agency could potentially be preparing for a high-level discussion on the same. The commission has scheduled a closed meeting with officials ranging from commissioners, counsel of the commissioners, and secretary to the commission, and recording secretaries to review settlement and resolution claims. The U.S. SEC closed-door meeting comes after the recent passing of the deadline to appeal against the court order from August 29 in favor of converting the GBTC into a spot Bitcoin ETF. Also, the court had on October 23 ordered the agency to revisit the GBTC decision, stressing on the similarities between Grayscale's proposition and the already sanctioned Bitcoin futures ETFs. As we saw just a few days ago too, we saw Gary Gensler talk about how he thinks that it's kind of hypocritical or odd that they don't already have a spot ETF, and this is coming from years ago. So I think this is pretty bullish. Now, what happens during this closed door meeting? It's impossible to know. We don't know, and it's probably not going to be them approving the ETF, but there's still some excitement over it, so I wanted to cover it. I just like to think that it's not happening because I don't want to get hyped up, try to buy a bunch of cryptocurrency ahead of this, because honestly, we've had so long to add. I think when you start hearing more and more people get excited about events that they think are happening in the next few days, that's probably not the best time to go all in and buy a bunch, because a lot of people are doing that. So I'm sitting here. I actually added a significant amount recently, but I'm not piling all in, and I wasn't buying because I think some big ETF decision is coming tomorrow. I actually got paid for something in Bitcoin, and I just kept it in Bitcoin, because why sell out to something that is going to devalue over time? Now, let me know your thoughts on this underneath the video. Thank you so much. Again, check out KlubCoin. They are doing a big event in the next day, so if you didn't see that earlier in the video, go check that out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.